This is the news in brief from the United Nations. The UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, said on Tuesday that over 8.5 million Sudanese have been forced to flee their homes since the war between rival militaries erupted there almost a year ago. At least 1.8 million among them have crossed into neighboring countries: South Sudan, Chad, Central African Republic, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Uganda. UNHCR spokesperson Olga Serrato said, although the war between the Sudanese armed forces and paramilitary rapid support forces began last April, thousands are crossing borders daily, as if the emergency had started yesterday. Here's Ms. Serrato on the plight of those arriving.
Those crossing borders, mostly women and children, are arriving in remote areas with little to nothing and in desperate need of food, water, shelter, and medical care. Many families have been separated and arrive in distress. People and children have witnessed or experienced appalling violence and making psychosocial support a priority.
Despite the magnitude of the crisis, funding remains critically low. Only 7% of the resources needed for the 2024 Regional Refugee Response Plan have been received. UNHCR said firm commitments are urgently needed from the international community to support Sudan and the countries hosting refugees, so those fleeing war can live in dignity. The number of lives lost due to viral hepatitis infections is increasing and already accounts for 3,500 deaths daily, the World Health Organization, or WHO, said in a new report on Tuesday. The disease is the second leading infectious cause of death globally, killing around 1.3 million people each year, the same as tuberculosis. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said it was a troubling picture. Despite progress globally in preventing infections, deaths are rising because far too few people are being diagnosed and treated, he said. The report also revealed alarming gaps in diagnosis and treatment across countries. Only 13% of people living with chronic hepatitis B have been diagnosed, and just 3%, or 7 million, had received antiviral therapy, according to figures for the end of 2022. This is far below global targets to treat 80% of people living with chronic hepatitis B and hepatitis C by 2030. And now, to the Horn of Africa nation, Djibouti, where at least 38 migrants, including women and children, died when their overcrowded boat capsized off the coast, the UN Migration Agency, IOM, said on Tuesday. The incident took place about 4 a.m. local time on Monday, about 200 meters offshore near the coastal town of Obak. 20 people were rescued by local fishermen and are being given treatment and support by IOM, agency spokesperson Yvonne Ndege told UN News in an exclusive interview. At least 6 others are missing and presumed dead. Around 66 migrants in total were on board traveling across the Gulf of Aden from Yemen to Djibouti. Every year, thousands of migrants from the Horn of Africa, especially Ethiopia and Somalia, leave their homes in a bid to reach Gulf countries for work, traveling through Djibouti across the Gulf of Aden. But many find themselves stranded in Yemen, facing severe hardships amidst the ongoing war and economic crisis there. Shanaé, Harte, UN News.